Hello, my wonderful learners. Let me ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly. You understand English, don't you? You watch videos, you listen to podcasts, and most of the time, you get it. But then, someone asks you a simple question, and suddenly, your mind goes blank. Why does that happen? Why does your English disappear exactly when you need it most? Now, stay with me, because today we are not doing a traditional lesson. Today, you are going to test your English brain. In just 10 minutes, you will see something very important. Not your grammar level, not your vocabulary size, but how your brain actually uses English under pressure. So here's what I want you to do. Take a breath and prepare a piece of paper or your phone. You are going to answer a few questions, not in your head, out loud. Yes, out loud. Because real English does not happen in your head. It happens through your voice. Now, let's begin. You might think, maybe I just need more vocabulary, or I need more grammar. But here's something most learners don't realize. Freezing is not a knowledge problem. It's a processing problem. Your brain is doing something. Very slow, very heavy, and very inefficient. It is translating, like a small, invisible interpreter sitting inside your mind. Every time you want to speak, your brain goes, first Turkish, then English. And that delay, even if it's just 1 second, feels like silence, feels like pressure, feels like I can't speak. But today, we're going to expose that system. And more importantly, we're going to start breaking it. So let's begin with the first part of your test, grammar and structure. But don't worry, this is not school grammar. This is real-life thinking grammar. I'm going to give you a sentence. You will have a few seconds, and I want you to complete it out loud. Ready? Question 1. Yesterday, I blanked to work. Say it. Don't wait. Don't think too much. Just say it. Good. Now, what did you say? Did you say, I go to work? Or, I went to work? The correct answer is, I went to work. But here's the important part. If you hesitated, even for a second, that tells me something. Your brain is not automatic yet. It is still choosing, instead of knowing. Fluency is not about choosing. Fluency is about recognizing instantly. Let's try another one. Question 2. I have blank this movie before. Say it. Did you say, I have seen this movie? Or, I have seen this movie? Correct answer. I have seen this movie before. Now, notice something. This is not just grammar. This is pattern memory. Your brain either recognizes the structure instantly, or it starts searching. And searching creates delay. Delay creates pressure. Pressure creates silence. Let's go a little deeper. Question 3. If I blank more time, I would study English. Say it. Did you say, if I have more time? Or, if I had more time? Correct. If I had more time. Now, if this felt difficult, good. That means you are seeing the truth, not your level, but your system. And here's what matters. You don't fix this with more rules. You fix this with exposure and repetition until your brain stops thinking and starts recognizing. Now, take a breath, because we're going to move to something even more important: vocabulary and natural English. And this is where most learners quietly struggle. Let's go deeper. Now, let's continue, because this next part is where many learners realize something surprising. You may know the words, but still, you don't sound natural. And when you don't sound natural, your brain becomes unsure. And when your brain becomes unsure, you slow down. And that is where freezing begins. So now, we test something deeper, not just vocabulary, but how your brain connects words. Ready? Let's go. Question 4. Which one sounds more natural? A. I said him the truth. B. I told him the truth. Say your answer out loud. The correct answer is, I told him the truth. Now, this is important. Many learners understand both words, say and tell, but they don't feel the difference. Here's the rule, but more importantly, the pattern, tell, always needs a person say, focuses on the words. But listen carefully. Fluent speakers don't think about this rule. They've seen the pattern hundreds of times, so their brain doesn't analyze. It recognizes. Let's try another. Question 5. Which one is correct? A. I did a mistake. B. I made a mistake. Say it. Correct answer. I made a mistake. This is what we call a natural combination, or more technically, a chunk. English is not built word by word. It's built in chunks, ready-made pieces. And if your brain tries to build every sentence from zero, you will always be slow. Let's go again. If you're still here, you're doing something most learners don't do. You are training your brain, not just watching. Question 6. Which one sounds natural? A. I am very boring. B. I am very bored. Say it. Correct answer. I am very bored. Because boring describes something that causes boredom. Bored describes how you feel. Now, here's what I want you to notice. If you had to think, even a little, that's okay, but it also shows something important. Your English is not automatic yet. It is still under construction. And let me tell you something. Very honestly, you are not the only one feeling this. I've worked with many professionals, engineers, managers, people who use English every day, and they all say the same thing. I understand everything, but when I need to speak, I hesitate. One of my students, her name was Lena. She worked in an international company. Every day, meetings in English. Every day, listening, understanding, taking notes. But when it was her turn to speak, she would smile, pause, and say something very short. After one session, she told me, "Emma, I feel like my English disappears when people look at me." And I asked her one question. Does your English disappear, or does your brain panic? Because these are not the same thing. Your English is still there, but your brain, under pressure, switches to survival mode. And in that moment, it stops building language and starts protecting you from mistakes. So if this feels familiar, good, because it means you are not starting from zero. You are just learning how to stay calm while your English is already there. And that changes everything. Because now you are not trying to fix your English. You are learning how your brain works. And when you see that clearly, you understand something important. Why construction feels slow. But fluency is not construction. Fluency is recall. Let me say that again, because this is critical. Fluency is not building sentences. Fluency is remembering patterns. That's why even learners with good grammar still freeze, because they are trying to build English instead of recall English. Now, let's make this real. Not understanding, speaking. I want you to repeat this sentence after me, slowly, naturally. I made a mistake in the meeting. Again. I told him the truth. Again. I have seen this before. What are we doing here? We are training your brain to store language as units, not words, not rules, but complete expressions. This is how your native language works too. You don't think word by word. You remember. And you speak. And that's exactly what we are building here. Now, before we move to the final part, let me tell you something important. If you got many of these wrong, it doesn't mean you are bad at English. It means you've been training the wrong system. And today, you are starting to change that. Now, take a breath. Stay focused, because the next part is where everything comes together. Listening and real understanding. And this is where your brain either stays calm or shuts down. Let's see what happens with you. Now, this is the final part of your test. And this part is the closest to real life. Because in real conversations, you don't choose answers. You don't see options. You don't have time to think. You just listen, understand, and respond. So now, I want you to do something simple. Just listen. Don't translate. Don't analyze. Just follow the meaning. Ready? Listen carefully. Last week, I had an important meeting at work. I prepared everything, my notes, my ideas, even my sentences in English. But when the meeting started, my manager asked me a simple question about the project, something I already knew. My mind suddenly went blank. I knew the answer, but I couldn't say it. After a few seconds, someone else spoke, and I stayed silent. Now, take a breath and answer this. Question 7. What happened in the meeting? A. She forgot the topic. B. She couldn't speak. C. She didn't prepare. Say your answer. Correct answer. B. She couldn't speak. Now, next. Question 8. Did she prepare before the meeting? A. Yes. B. No. Say it. Correct answer. Yes. Now, this is where it gets interesting. If you understood the story, but still feel like you would freeze in that situation, then your problem is not understanding. It's performance. And that is a completely different skill. Let me explain. There are 2 versions of your English brain. The first one is calm, slow, safe. This is the version you use. when you are watching videos or listening to me right now. And in this state, you understand everything. But the second version is under pressure, fast, uncertain. This is the version that appears in meetings, interviews, real conversations. And this version doesn't want perfect English. It wants fast access. If your brain has to search, translate, or build sentences, it simply stops. And that moment feels like, I don't know English. But that's not true. You do know English. Your brain just cannot access it fast enough. That's the real problem. And now, you've seen it yourself. So let's quickly look at your result. Be honest, no pressure. If you answered most questions easily and quickly, you are around B1 to B2 level. But your focus should be speed and automaticity. If you understood, but needed time to think, you are around A2 to B1, and your focus should be pattern training and repetition. If many questions felt difficult or confusing, you are around A1 to A2, and your focus should be simple input and daily exposure. But listen carefully, because this is the most important part. Your level is not your limit. Your system is what matters. So here's something simple you can start today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. For just 5 minutes, choose one sentence you learned in this video. Say it slowly, then say it again, naturally. Then close your eyes and imagine a real situation, a meeting, a conversation, a simple moment, and say that sentence again, as if it's real. This is how your brain learns speed, not through pressure, but through repetition, in calm moments. Do this every day, and something very quiet, but very powerful, will begin to change. And today, you did something very powerful. You didn't just learn English. You observed how your brain works. And that awareness is where real progress begins. So here's what I want you to do now. Write your score in the comments and tell me this. Where did you hesitate? Be honest. No judgment. Because I read every single comment, and I will give you a small, personal direction. Also, if you felt something during this video, if you noticed that moment of hesitation, that moment of silence, that moment of, I know this, but I can't say it, that is your starting point, not your weakness, your starting point. And from here, we build, slowly, calmly, correctly. Because remember, this is not a grammar lesson. This is training your brain to perform in English. Think in English. Speak with confidence. Unlock your voice. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.